will shake since about a quarter after the hour. A move above 50 puts this one right back on trend for a break above 50 and a move into 3/4. So SLNH, I didn't have any trades on this one. Doesn't mean that I can't see the validity of this one. So we'll keep tabs on that. Are you going up to the big board? Hey, all right. So we'll let Joe set up because he's still getting ready. You're good to go already? That's super quick. All right, well, there you go. Joey Opsh, ready as well. Shout out to Jackie, SEN. Hope you guys had a fantastic morning with Joe and I on the midday, or I should say afternoon. We're going to send you to the afternoon boys now. Joey and Neal, sending it over to Joey.
Good stuff there, guys. I mean, a lot of my face going on in the past couple of weeks. Don't get too sick of me because Katina Man will, he'll be back shortly, guys. He'll be back on Thursday. I mean, the man has to take a little bit of a break like most of us do, just due to the fact that, hey, man, he's here, he's in every day. You need that R&R. You need to shut your mind off and just like step away, especially when we're seeing this type of market. But at the end of the day, I hope he's enjoying every single part. Now, guys, I mean, what we talk about here essentially from a day-to-day standpoint is if we go over these names, you have Sharif on his small caps. We're trading Bitcoin, we're trading Tesla. But the real factor is, and you'll hear me say typically, just, okay, I'm really hyper-focused on essentially just a couple or a handful of names throughout the day. And I think that's what's really important. And what that is us essentially establishing a pre-market game plan. And I think that's something really important and every trader needs to hone in on when they definitely look to start trading after the open.
Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. But if you have a good plan, at least it'll prepare you to be able to counterpunch. Know what to do when X happens or when Y happens, because ultimately a trading plan isn't always about, I'm going to predict what's going to happen next. It's more about, these are the things that can happen, and this is going to be my reaction to it. And when we look at developing a plan, it's like, what am I going to trade? That's the first thing. What am I actually going to trade? Like, do I want something to end up with a good short and a reversal long and then regaging in the short and basically taking as much after the open as we can? Yeah, that's the end point. But you got to think about where it starts from. Knowing that I wanted to trade SLV today. Now, you had an opportunity to see. Obviously, you had oil futures, which were going higher, which were putting stress on a lot of things, including the metals in particular. Now, in this particular case, immediately identifying prior resistance last week, except for Friday, where you had this massive blowout day. Huge drop in oil futures. Well, today we come in and oil futures are way up, causing this to come down. So the first thing I look at is, okay, when you have those, if the reverse set would be like a bottoming tail candle, in this case, it's a false break on a daily because you've got one day which got completely erased and you're now gapping back down underneath prior resistance. Now, when I sit down and it's early, you're trading well off of that level. But the first thing I identify is underneath here, I'm favoring the short side of the trade. It doesn't mean I'm necessarily shorting every single price. But if we don't bust out just underneath that 73 level, then I want to be looking short. Now, the ideal trade is it gravitates all the way up to that 73 and gives me the entry point. It's not always going to be that simple. Sometimes you have to wait for that leading indicator to give you the action. And remember, we're looking at USO down, meaning silver is going to go up. So the second at the open we establish an upward trend and we're bouncing and putting in higher lows, that's where I want to get in. You would have heard me say this when I talk about this all the time for entries. Having an area where you want to short in front is not necessarily enough. I want a reason to get in. I want to see confirmation. I want to see higher lows in USO confirmed with lower highs in silver. So until I see it make that higher low in confluence with the lower high with that higher low, I don't make any entry points. Then the confirmation of the short comes in, ride it all the way down to where it eventually catches a bid. Now in this case, I do have one flip trade, which I would say didn't even need to be necessary. But it did happen because of an overall trend in USO, which was it got to VWAP, and it's trending down. It got to VWAP and looked like it was going to break lower. In that particular moment, it's easy to say, well, get out of the short for a little bit, because if we continue to tank down, you're probably going to get silver going higher. So we take a shot going into the long position. Once it loses VWAP, I'm out. But what happens? It didn't continue lower. You get higher lows. You bounce off VWAP in the other way. So what's the original plan of action? It's underneath our key price level, right? So we're continuing to look short, and you're bouncing. So now I'm shorting volume weighted average price. It's that simple. Knowing where you want to enter underneath. Now, obviously, it could have been a situation where that just continued to blast higher, and maybe I have to wait for it to come back down and show me those lower highs, but that's what it's all about. I'm waiting for the confirmation of strength in USO, and then once I see those lower highs, I'm engaged in the short trade. I'm using VWAP for re-entries when the trend is confirmed. But it all starts with having a plan of action and what you want to trade in the first place.
Absolutely, and I completely agree with Neal has going on there. Now, essentially what he's getting at is we have that inverse correlation, but there's a time and a place for everything. What he's waiting for is, okay, if we think that USO is going to continue to climb higher, and SLV is potentially going to move lower, or the inverse of that, lower on USO, higher in silver, he's going to wait for either to sell the pop or buy the dip. And that's exactly what he had. It was a game plan in the pre-market that said, okay, if we climb higher, we're ready to audible if we have to, but if we climb higher in USO, then I'm going to be looking for lower highs to be established in SLV, which is going to give us the opportunity to game plan and strategize for a potential short. You hold key levels like the volume weighted average price, that's his green light to go when you are playing that inverse correlation between USO and SLV, especially if he was looking for that trade to the short side.
And even as bonus time, I can now look at what my plan would be for the following day just based on the beginning thesis. Oh, we're playing back into this, which could be a head and shoulders pattern, depending on what you want to look like. There's your head. You got a couple of theoretical shoulders. That's going to hold. Well, what happened the following day when it lost this level? It held trend and then put in lower highs. Well, right now, it's indicating it's not giving me much of a reason to get away from that notion. The continuation is still there because you're holding that resistance short. So now I have a key price level to look for continuation. And one of the things that I already know that I would be looking at is, if it doesn't get to this level, start looking at the resistance lower highs. Even before the next day has started, you can look for the continuation of a potential trend trade that you were able to see on day one. But you have to have that day one plan in the first place. Correlation helps. Having key price levels helps, but you have to have an execution strategy. You have to develop the bias around that key price level so you know which direction you're going to even trade when it gets to your price before it gets there. That's how you execute a successful trade.
Good stuff, exactly. So game planning is key. It's going to lead to your intraday success. I don't believe it's just the idea to wake up, roll over, and turn over and think you're going to be able to punch it long on something or go short. You need to game plan. Having a pre-market plan is essentially going to be that first step in your key to success with day trading. That's for sure. All right, guys, let's take a look. How come I hear myself here? Oh, it's because of Neal's mic. All right, yeah. I mean, there it is. Bitcoin continuing to climb higher, and this is what we're looking at essentially. AMD found some form of a recovery, but nothing nearly as strong as what we experienced in the triple Qs or SPY. Now, IBIT up here around these highs, we have an outstanding volume print, and you're holding that 42.25 mark. If we continue to do so, and exactly in the game plan in which Neal was just referring to, if we fail to establish a new high, that could be a good potential signal, green light to go for a reversion, as the overall market is just slowly grinding higher. At some point, if larger participants want to come in and start selling, I think they'll have the ability to push price a little bit lower.
You know what the most important thing is in trading? It's like personal responsibility. Like you come in, like you do your plan of action, or you know, you understand the things that you're looking for, and then I'll set up my watch list or my quote board to make sure that I don't miss trades. All of that being said, which is because it's all fair and true, whoever's job it was to remind us all that Beyond Meat was going to get to close to $1 and fail, you failed everybody. Because I don't know, like, see, I remember somebody in the chat was like, "Oh yeah, Beyond Meat's getting close to $1." Dang it! You got to like at me or something, or maybe just post in all caps or something like this. Did it really triple? Are you kidding me? It failed $1 on Friday. It triple topped at 97 cents. Like 97 cents is the lower high. It just triple topped at 97 cents and did like the cleanest of. I don't know, maybe it's not the clean. I just think it looks clean. Maybe it's because I don't like Beyond Meat. It looks to me like a clean like little flag or trend break here and then right into VWAP. So I know sometimes history doesn't always repeat itself, but it can often rhyme. And when it rhymes, that's a good thing for trading, for sure. Anyways, I'm really only in one trade right now. I should be in that Beyond Meat trade. Yeah, I should be in that Beyond Meat trade. It was just like BMNR started breaking out. I'm like, okay. Like it did this, so it was kind of like that trend break, and I ended up catching like the breakout, which is silly because I missed it down here when it broke the trend. But I'm like, okay, I'll take the regular trade, but with a bit of a chase for less shares, and then that way I can still give it to that prior bar. I've tightened it up after it got second level to this higher low where the breakout was, but I'm probably just gonna try this trend unless something crazy happens. I think what we have to always consider is when we're looking at the markets and when they're driven by these headlines, maybe not as much today intraday, but at any moment you can get the right headline or the wrong headline. Like the wrong one if you're long would be, or like in this particular case, long crypto related, would be that you get a pop in USO, which is exactly what we're seeing. BMNR is gonna come back. So if this starts breaking out 123, I gotta consider getting out. You've got an unbelievable accumulation happening right here at 122 on USO. It's going sideways, but it is in an upward trend, so I have to consider that. I like the fact that Bitcoin and ETH and most of crypto have been able to be strong without there being some kind of a flush. So it's a little bit disconnected from the oil markets, for sure. I see FJ saying NVTS, Novartis is making some power moves. That could be worth putting on the watch for this afternoon. Not bad, good VWAP bounce, that's what you like to see. Good strength on the daily chart. Good continuation as well. That could be interesting. Don't necessarily love it failing the highs as we speak, because when you're looking at a trade like this, as it's breaking out on that candle, that's where you gotta have it. Like you gotta have the VWAP break there. The chase is okay if there's really good volume. I'm not seeing the volume continue a heck of a lot on Novartis. ASTS, oh, that was the biggest fail. Where's my fail button? And the only reason I'm calling it a fail is, oh, I didn't even flip to it. There you go. The only reason I'm calling this one a fail, I understand it was not a successful launch, right? But like one of the comments we were saying in the pre-market show was, well, it's not like they blew the sucker up. Like there's all kinds of, like, look, the rockets, the satellite's a loss. It got launched into the incorrect, too low of an orbit, the incorrect orbit, and they have to deorbit it, and it's gonna be a total loss, and insurance has to pick it up. Like from that standpoint, of course, absolutely, it's a negative. But it's not the same kind of problem as it blew up on launch, and we don't know what just happened yet. Right? Like it's not that kind of a failure. And when it was down double digits, it really did set itself up for a bounce play. And then that dip was maybe just enough. They came right into that 200 period moving average. I just missed it. I can't say it was my number one thing that I wanted to trade because I was sort of focused on IBIT. And yes, Joe's grabbing lunch. It's delicious. It was delicious. And now I have to smell it. What was I'm literally smelling this like delicious lunch that you just heated up. And what was I just talking about? I was talking about ASTS. That wasn't my number one idea. And then because I was focused on like looking at Intel and silver, yeah, that's what I was getting at. Like it wasn't one of the 4 things I was watching at 9:30. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did already have it, but
How was it?
Well, I thought it was pretty good.
That's good.
But I know you judge the food a little bit more.
I'm a hard critic.
You know when you start smelling something that's just good, or maybe this is just
Don't
me.
you think lamb should have came with like a garlic sauce, not like a salsa though?
It was an odd choice of sauce.
Okay.
But I I didn't mind. I thought it was pretty good. No, it really does. It smells quite good. And no, it's not Beyond Lamb. When we were talking, how Beyond Meat came. Well, first of all, Beyond Meat's moving today, but the other context was that the vegetarian alternative was Beyond Meat. Adam James abroad. Me encanta más. No más.
No más.
Says Roberto Duran. No más. MAS. And then we've got David. Oh, David with a super chat. Well, we could have at least looked at MAS, but I don't know. It's not really doing much of anything today.
Pull that. Yeah,
you didn't show my last. Did we miss it? Oh.
Yeah. Apologies.
That's our bad, Dave.
Yeah. Apologies.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like we try our best not to miss these, but it happens. You didn't show my last super, so man of my word, got the Beyond Immerse to send to you. It looks like sparkling water. It's expensive but worth it, unless you have big position in it. Give opinion on the show. Okay, so first of all, 100%, I do not own. None of us. Well, I don't own shares in Beyond Meat. I'm 99.9 repeating % sure that Sean doesn't own any damn Beyond Meat shares.
Never know with that guy.
No.
I know he doesn't. He doesn't.
He would never. Look, I shouldn't say never, but no. Yeah, you don't. I would imagine.
No,
there's not. I know Brennan doesn't. So like, there's no conflict of interest. And we had to be. It was like A&W Beyond Meat burgers like years ago when they came out. We had them live on the show and give our honest opinion of it. It was when it was like more of a newish kind of thing, and the stock was going crazy, so we thought it was fun. So now we're gonna get that drink and see how.
You're gonna get the protein drink?
Well, no, it's David's sending it to us.
So I don't understand.
And then we'll give our honest opinion of it.
I used to eat like black bean burgers, some soy burgers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we have to go beyond meat though. Like, you know what I mean? Are we classifying the black bean and the soy burgers as Beyond Meat or just veggie burgers?
Yeah, I guess there's a difference. It's just
right.
It's just different.
It's different.
Yeah, and ultimately everyone's gonna try to get the best product to try to replicate what everyone else loves to eat. Let's be honest with it. Like
would you try that lab-grown meat?
I have not.
Would you though? Well, I don't think you can buy it.
No, but I'll more or less try anything. That's just kind of like that's how I'm mentally built. Like, I would give it a chance. Like, there's all kinds of legitimate reasons why. Like, if you could make it taste just as good and just as healthy and all the same characteristics, that when you look at just from like global supply chains and input costs, it could be better. But, and I'm talking about a big but. Better taste really good.
Yeah.
And it better be just as healthy.
I know you've seen the movie.
And it better just have that same feel on that grill. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all that matters.
And yeah, so I'm usually not the first person to try these things, but yeah, I'd never say never, man. I'll never say, even if it's not my preference. Like, I had that Beyond Meat burger. It's the last one I ever had. I never had it again because I was just like,
fair enough.
Not really. It's not quite good enough. Beyond Meat, by the way, is up 14% today. Like, we are bringing this up with the context of, it's not like it's squeezing out of, this isn't crazy or anything. It's gone from 60 cents to just underneath $1. But this is probably the best winning streak it's had in a very long time. It's not Avis. I'm just pausing for context.
It's still going?
Yeah, this was just a pause for effect.
Wow, I was right. Okay, this is
somebody in the hedge fund land. Their kid's college fund is just gone.
Here it is. Okay.
What are we looking at now?
Are you ready for this?
Probably not.
We're trading at $570. Let's get over to that strike price there, Neal. 227% at the money IV. A $1,200 spread. 6 contracts open on it, 8 contracts open and closed on it today. This thing is absolutely insane. If we go closer, the chances of the implied volatility are going to uptick. There you go. 244% compared to what we were just seeing on the May 11th expiration cycle. You're seeing a $700, $600 spread across the board. The higher you go in strike, the wider it can potentially get. Another $800 right there, Sharif. More, or sorry, Neal called you Sharif. $1,200 right there on that spread. Absolutely insane. Insane. You have to be so careful. 570, you're up another 15% here today. I mean, let's pull up the actual charting on this thing because I have to see it. Like, I mean,
nonsense.
It's complete nonsense. What was the reason this whole thing was going?
I mean, we could. I know at the very beginning of this, there was I remember the first couple of days. There was a great thing about there was a few running at the same time, and it started with the TSLA strike around the time of when there was all kinds of backlog and all of the other ones were starting to run. Like they were going a bit as a group. So my guess is at some point somebody got blown out. Like because you can't, there's no catalyst that takes this from 140 to 200 that explains why it's at $570 except for the short float. But you can get it started, but now that the ball's rolling, it's just a short squeeze.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about a squeeze, how it unwinds, I don't know. That's the unknown. You never really, I shouldn't say you never really, but I can't imagine. I don't know. That's the best thing. I don't know what will cause this to turn around, but I have a pretty good feeling that once we do establish a break, this could be back in the 200s within a rather abrupt period of time.
Very quickly. I think so. I think the exact same thing. It'll happen faster than you can ever imagine. Now, I want to head over to where was our last major squeeze? Like this, I don't know. We're going to use the example of GameStop. Of how quickly things can turn around on a dime, right? You're seeing how many people in May of 2024, that's when all of that kind of big movement happened, isn't it? I believe so. May of 2024, a lot of sideways price action before you decide to go absolutely parabolic from $64, $9 all the way down, all the way up to 64. So you catch 524% in the span of a couple of weeks, all right? And then look what happens after. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that was fun. You drop 72% in the span of 2 trading weeks. Oh, you think you're going to climb back higher, so you're continuously bag holding? Okay, then you drop a little bit more. So just be cautious on what's going on. As Neal mentioned, he hit that nail right on the head. This is insane, but watch out. For every action, you'll probably see an equal and opposite reaction. And I think you're going to see that momentarily in CAR. It may take a little bit longer. It's going to hold it. It's going to remain irrational longer than you can say solvent. But at the end of the day, at some point, regardless of the name, it will come back in eventually, and it will come in extremely, extremely fast. So be cautious and be prepared.
Someone was asking, if you can't get locates, how do you short something like this? Well, you were just showing how expensive puts are. So, the only other way to do it is to
calls, dude. Calls were that expensive.
Well,
yeah, the only way
the options market is if you don't have locates, the options market is your only option.
Legit.
Pun.
But then it's like Neal.
If you can still get, it is what it is. Timing is so ridiculous.
There's no liquidity here.
Yeah. So what do you
what do you do, right? Okay, so you're buying something with a $400 spread. I mean, if you're willing to lose $6,000 on it, then by all means, that's how much that thing cost. $60. It's $6,000 for an or not even $6,600 if we go up to $6,400, right? That's what you're paying on these. You're paying a 249% increase on premium, all right? So it's hey, that is the safer route in my opinion. If you are looking to short this name, it's hey, if you're going to get involved in this, there's only so much you can lose, and that's how much you're going to pay for the contract at the end of the day. So if you are looking to short, you can find locates, but there is one contract open. There's literally one individual. We don't know who this guy is. He's an absolute savage, but one person holding one contract open with 7 contracts open and closed. So there's literally one individual holding the 570. I would love to meet this person.
Good for them. I want to thank SP1 for the super chat here. So you're probably talking about the top build deal here. So Brad Jacobs, the super CEO of many companies in the past, is pushing his new company QXO. Thoughts? QXO is buying top builds today for, I actually don't remember the deal size. It worked out to close, it's not exactly, I think it was close to 50-50 stock and cash and stock. I should just double check. Let me just It is, yeah, it's 17 billion, 227.25 cash, and then also 11.11 shares of QXO. So they are using, QXO is using a hefty amount of their own shares to pay for the deal. One of the signs that I guess would be a positive, almost in all cases, is when an acquiring company, if shares are involved, or even if it's just 17 billion is not a small deal, and this is a pretty large deal. Well, the immediate reaction, they're going to get sold, right? Like it's pretty normal. The acquiring company goes down, but it almost instantly catches a bid with the market. So that's typically a good sign. What I've always found, and I've traded buyouts for years, is that I don't always try to be smarter than what the initial arb is, right? Like if the big money decides that they're buying up the acquirer instead of letting it fall right away on day one at the opening bottom, then I tend to like that. I tend to think that is good for the acquiring company. If it's what happened with Netflix, you're like, okay, well, until something changes, get off the bid. And that's what happened with Netflix until the deal was dead. So yeah, it's a big deal. It's reacting pretty favorably. I know it's down 4%, but it's a little bit deceiving because the initial drop, it's typical. It is going to happen when there's a big deal. A lot of times you will just get that drop. And then it did that whole 10 a.m. bounce, which I've seen before. And if you do it on the day one, I think that's even better. So ultimately, I couldn't tell you the synergies between the two and how that's going to work out for you. But from a pure trading perspective, they didn't really get punished that bad. It was like a temporary drop, and if this was it, just today is the drop, I would like that. But it's only one day so far. And I didn't trade the other one. It's like ridiculously expensive. For now, like I still am watching this USO, because the market's grinding higher. So at this point, market grinding higher, USO failed the 123 and is headed back into VWAP. So I'm looking for places that I can buy the dip, whether that's over in BMNR. Again, I don't know if I'll be able to dip into this prior high breakout price and I can reload that. Also have my eyes, this is going to be adjacent to crypto. It's weird because Robinhood was strong this morning, but it's like right underneath VWAP here. And if I'm looking for something that can chase, like crypto's been relatively strong, I think Robinhood can maybe chase breaking to VWAP. So I have that in my eyeballs. Let me know what you guys are watching. Seeing someone just said HIMS is looking pretty interesting. AMD, oh my goodness, AMD. That was stupidity. So, like, AMD was so bad. I did try like one break long trade. Maybe this will set up. But that already, oh, if you're gonna have this, like you'd already be in it here. Bang, bang. Yeah, that looks good.
If you can get to the lower end, like right now we're pushing the higher end of the range around 273.80s. I want to catch that on the lower end, about 50 cents or so. Darius, are you still involved in that one? Then we also had our boy here in the chat, Kuzi, talking about some of the cybersecurity names. They're not looking too bad, right? Like, I mean, I don't know, we're holding this, we have a breach of trend. It just took a little bit longer than what we were expecting for them to start to get rolling again. We're still nowhere close to near those previous all-time highs, excuse me. So, I mean, you're still in bear market territory, but it's better than being down 30+%, right? Like 40% in CrowdStrike. Man, that's a big-time discount and one of the leaders. Same with PAN-W. It's like Zscaler, we can almost just dash out the window because that stock's down 60% off of its highs. But you still have PAN-W that's down 24% and was down 35%, 37% from peak to trough there. So in a sector that has been just absolutely battered, some form of recovery, I don't think that Claude is just going to step in, or some of these the higher end performance tools that we're starting to use are going to essentially replace what we have going on in CrowdStrike and in PAN-W. Zscaler, it's unfortunate about this one, $336 all the way down to $132. So you get a 60% haircut just like that, 65% from peak to trough. And I mean, yeah, really, really bad look there on a couple of the names, but there is some relative strength starting to step in, and that's essentially what we want to see. There goes AMD, obviously, right? Is that what you're worrying about?
Well, apparently, yeah, that's what I was wowing about.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was Darius was saying they were long NVIDIA, not AMD.
You're long NVIDIA?
That's I just saw Darius said that in the chat.
Okay.
But the AMD did just, we were just looking at it.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I was just sort of like, yeah, that 73 hole looks good. Let's try it. And then the second you were like, I don't know, it was maybe like a couple of seconds late. It wasn't that late, but I was just trying to grab that opening candle here.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, we're already at 274.5. So I'm looking for something that can follow a little bit. What was really weak?
Tesla, like Tesla's holding trend at 392, now up to 392.80, but we'd be buying the exact same into the resistance zone. And I mean, if this fails, this is a pretty good higher low setup, so you would only have to risk until the breach of this specific trend line, I think, in order to get involved here on Tesla. If you can get as lower to the lower end to this as possible, then your risk to reward is going to increase. So we can look at that one. We tried a couple of attempts on TSLA earlier this morning. They didn't work out. This is TSLA. One did. Oh, this was a short scalp. So, I mean, we go 1 for 1 essentially with a break even on TSLL. But this is starting to hold up relatively well. If it does break, then that's going to be your green light to get out, not necessarily your green light to go here on TSLL.
Red light, yellow light, green light, go.
Yeah.
Know that one?
No. What is it from?
Orange Americans? Oh, you're too young for that. What?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm tripping. They were like, the second I even said it, I just realized like that they dropped that song in like probably like 1996 or 97.
Okay.
Warning sign. It's a good tune though. I'm looking it up right now. But I was just saying, no, someone just said SMCI is breaking out the high of the day, which is, well, I, for one, am shocked. Very shocked. Like, really? SMCI. Like, usually I'm looking, like, afternoon Neal is usually thinking revert SMCI. And afternoon Neal is seeing it's been trending up all day long. The weird thing, too, is, here, I'm going to save that so I can go back to USO for a second, because I think it's at least important to acknowledge what, like, USO is holding the higher end of this range and bouncing off of VWAP. So the fact that it's holding the top end, I want to at least have something along the lines of this is what I want to short if we start breaking out. So I'm looking for that kind of a name as well, and I know this has been a strong one, but I like all-day trend breaks in the afternoon. So if I can find something that as we get to the breakout point of oil, if it starts to accelerate, all right, there's a few things that would work here for SMCI. Remember what we were talking about just at the screen with silver? We have, it's not an extreme one, but it's like a false break over the prior high on Thursday, kind of fails it, holds underneath. That's resistance this morning, it's resistance now. If it fails that same level from here and then drop there, then that can become the shoulder, and then there's your move down. So I'm going to throw SMCI up somewhere. All right, put it on my. I really never look. I look at about 4 things at a time. Like if I'm like, I'll have 4 charts or 4 stocks that I'm like, these are the ones that actively right now. I don't have to be in all of them, but these are the ones I'm actually looking at. And if it's not on that list, then probably not going to get into it. But I'm going to add SMCI here just because of the strength we're seeing in USO, and want to be sure that I have something in both directions. Because the reality, the market velocity is not huge right now. We're gently, Nasdaq gentle trend up. USO, when you pop things on the 15-minute charts, I can always make it look like it's moving on a 3-minute with zoom and all that effect. But if you pop it on a 15-minute, like look at how choppy USO is. And then if I pop the Qs onto the 3-minute, it is a very slow and gentle move upside. So something changing is what needs to happen for me. Like there was maybe that one shot there in AMD. You had to be really, really close on that for sure. Darius is saying Apple at 73. I love Apple. Like,
Tesla actually bounced off of that support level there, Neal. And Bitcoin, at one point, like you have the topping tail signals up here, but then now you're starting to see some events start to kick right back in. Now, as for this is a really good post up, but I think Neal and I both agree. He's like, man, you got to be really precise on this one because you have that base that was formed at 273.40s, so you want to get it as close to that lower end of the range to increase your risk to reward. If you're sitting in over here, then your RVR isn't necessarily the best, and you're like, oh, okay. You need so much of a larger move. So that's what I'm looking at potentially here on Tesla. We are at the lower. If the market wants to climb, there you go, Darius. You're getting that move that you want to. A nice recovery here in AMD. That's a good look. IBIT looking like it wants to continue its trend. Now, where am I wrong here on this Tesla trade? We may as well take this because this trend line is holding up at 31s. I can give it to 21s, which is plenty of risk. And if it really starts to cook up for us, then we can add a little bit more. We can add a little bit more size, because I'm getting the feels if the market finds any form of a rally, Tesla's going to start to participate. We're having that ascending wedge pattern start to be formed on the 5-minute. So we have that flat top with multiple touches on Tesla.
No, my bad. I didn't realize that's Sean's.
Yeah, it's all right, man. Hey, man, Katina, man.
Yeah.
It's all good, man.
All message things.
And then lower highs with the resistance zone. So as we breach through this, we really want to see the volume kick in and step in order for us to give us a genuine confirmation that, hey, we bottomed, and then now buyers are prepared to step in and take price a little bit higher on Tesla. Nice indecision print off of this pullback on IBIT. Going oppo the overall market, establishing a new high of around $43.30. Now zoom out, and we talked about the majority of the gap being filled bright and early this morning, and it just took some time with multiple fake outs. I knew something like this was going to happen. Strong week last week. You gap down, and then sure enough, you find somewhat of a recovery. So a nice look. Adair, I didn't get the green light, but if you want, just chime in.
Not just.
Yeah, so it's funny. So Neal just messaged me about this stock, and like right as he messaged me, it was about to actually go with this story because TTD has some news. It's at new highs. An account called Serenity, which is, I guess, a fairly well-known account on X, and I believe at one point also on like that Reddit, Wall Street Bets subreddit. Anyways, here, TTD to the upside, as Serenity says, I guess calls this one a long play, saying that they're involved short term at $22. Right now, the stock pushing into 24.30s. Back to you.
Bait it.
Wow, that was a quick decision by Joe. I'm at least looking at the chart before.
No, I'm not. Doesn't mean I'm hopping in right away.
Oh, it's right at the 50 period on the daily. Resistance at 24.65 on the daily chart as well. So you've got like an entire 30 to 40 cent range. No, it's been super strong. Like, I know it's popping now, but it's been strong all day. So it's at a big level on the daily, but there's also like a good 1.5%, I guess, range from here where you can find. Here, this is what I was looking at. I should always confirm. Like, I'm looking at my chart, I'm talking, but it might have been on Joe's chart in that moment. So like, there's this level in here where you had the last, I guess, like ditch effort before it eventually made some fresh lows. So about 24.65. So here to 24.65 is sort of a reasonable short area where you could have some resistance. It's not that easy when it's that wide of a range on a $24 stock. It's not going to be a trend break. You almost need like a crazy exhaustion. Like, that's a tricky short. I like it when there's an obvious topping tail candle. I might just go back to SMCI. If I'm going to, because that one, like, this is more normal for me. Sort of look for something like this to break trend, like nibble in. I should have nibbled in here when it failed the high, and then try to grab it when it's losing the trend line. Stick with that. Like, that's a trade that's been an absolute freight train all day, Joe. Like that. And the other thing too is like it's a relief rally to begin with on Trade Desk. Like how bad? Like, we were joking about. Well, I don't know if joke's the right word. We were mocking, actually might be the right word.
83%.
Just how bad Trade Desk had been. I think we had a poll up a couple of weeks ago, and I'm pretty sure it was like, which one would you, if you had to own? I thought Trade Desk might have been on there as one of those really, really bad software names. It hasn't sniffed the 50 period since October of last year. Nasty. So there's a lot of relief rally room that it can go. Like, a lot of these stocks are playing catch up.
Very true.
For sure. So if I'm going to fade something, I want something a little bit more standard. And at least SMCI is looking pretty normal-ish for an up day on SMCI. Like, it's nothing crazy.
Oh, man, achievers, man. I was just giving you, come on, man. I was just giving you big ups as well, too. Bruh,
What happened?
Right. Hey, man. It's all right. It's all right.
I sent you that song, but you're gonna listen to it.
Okay, yeah, we'll take a little bit of a look in there. Pretty good lunch, man. I can't even complain. Maybe I was just a little bit hungry. Aside from that, I was looking at a potential long here on Tesla, but now we've breached that trend line, so you can throw that thesis out of the window as we continue to climb. Short on TTD? No, not yet. Neal's right. You're not just going to jump in front of a freight train. You want to wait until things start to slow down and then slowly curl over. That hasn't been the case, except for in the overall market.
You just inhaled that.
Well, I don't know about inhaled, my brother. I've been chewing on over it for like
Crush that.
for the past little bit. But yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, I think garlic sauce more or less should go with it, not like a spicy salsa. I don't know. We can get more involved into that. Salad, not too bad. Yeah, overall, the best thing I think this morning was the spring rolls. Spring rolls for breakfast, definitely a different idea.
That was weird for me.
Spring roll.
The spring rolls always taste good, but for breakfast,
yeah, that's not the ideal breakfast.
no, like
there.
if I'm eating a spring roll for breakfast, it just reminds me of like being
Leftover,
in
yeah.
university, eating Chinese food, and having like leftovers, and like it's the only thing you have in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
So you heat it up, and that's why you ate it.
There's literally
Not because I chose to eat. Like
it's not like, oh man, let me cook this pack of spring rolls here this morning
it's
for
like,
breakfast.
oh, this is what's.
No, this is
I
what
can
we
put
have.
it in the microwave, and that's what's still there.
Leftover pizza is falling into that.
Or I could go to class hungry. Those were options.
Yeah, those were
Sometimes those were your options.
Man.
And spring rolls were not that bad. Like especially, a little bit of the grease sometimes would help in the mornings, depending on what you were up to the night before.
The night before. Oh man.
Actually, let's be real.
Actually, see, look,
Often would help it.
man, the greasy food, man. Let's see what we got going on. See, look, there's some of the selling pressure right there at 22s there on the trade desk, starting to sell a little bit here, guys. Do you have to order shorts on this thing, Neal? The trade desk? I think we're already
I shouldn't have assumed, but
yeah.
no, you don't. We have they're free. Yeah,
okay.
Free load.
So I mean, it's already gone, right? Like I mean, you're already 17 cents off of those highs. Your risk to reward isn't going to be worth it, especially with a name that's been this strong. AMD, nice breath. Something that was prior. Darius, I don't even have the bang for you there, my brother. All day been saying, Joe, go long, go long, and then finally, eventually, it's starting to go long. So hopefully, you had the diamond hands to hold on to that 274.80, and looking like it wants to rebound. A breach of the downtrend here in Tesla, and then off to the races it goes. So TSLA holding up right now. Maybe that's just going to be some form of liquidity grab before it decides to climb a little bit higher.
Oh, and just for everybody, you get a lot of questions about it. Rob's in IT. He's just, he works with Randy, so he's just working on some things back there. The show never ends. Oh, you don't have to single them out and put them on camera.
Yeah,
there's questions like, who's that in the back? If you watch the show enough, you probably see Randy a lot, but you see Rob too working all the time. Yeah. You see Mark floating around doing things, and we're always trying. Like right now, working on the desk so we can get back to some of the functionality that we had before. For sure, is going to be important. But man, that AMD, I want to It's like, where do you join this? Because giving it to 73 is no longer an option at all. I know you're looking at this one too. Or you like Tesla better?
Yeah, well, I don't like Tesla better, but AMD was definitely the stronger one.
I already got kind of nipped on this once.
And
the worst part about it was exactly the same scenario. I was liking it for a bounce, but I was playing it a little bit late. It was still good risk to reward, but catching the turn here would have been obviously a heck of a lot better. That way you can make a decision there. If you add, it's not the end of the world. So it's that would have, if you get this and then you add there and it breaks down, I'm probably looking at a slight win, not a flat trade, which is what this one ended up being. That's why I don't like the chase so much. Just not a huge fan of it. What else we got? Yeah, AVEX, want to look at the IPO. This one didn't, it's weird. It didn't intrigue me this morning. And I'm blown away by the fact that it's up so much. We've seen this party before.
Holy cow.
This is not even the first drone space IPO to do this. I'd just be really careful with it.
Yeah.
Right? You have the fact that there's a war going on where everyone's hyped about drones. And then, you get very small, relatively small available float because it just came to market with limited shares, has a good first day, and then it just starts ripping faces off. And I promise you there's already there's already people trying to short this thing. They're getting blown up, and some of them are probably averaging down. So there's some squeeze aspect and soaking up available float that's going to happen here in AVX. But it's just a tremendous move. Like in the morning, it felt like it was just going gap fill all the way down. But what can you do? That's one of the things you have to consider about the IPO market. What is the sector that you're playing? If you're just talking about the trade, what's the sector? Is it in favor? Is there momentum behind it? Is there hype around it? Because almost all the time, when you're coming to market, it's not because this is going to be an attractive valuation. So you care about momentum and hype. That's just the truth of the matter. It's not historically like, oh, this is a great place to buy when everyone's trying to cash out. Right? Like that's not typically how it goes. So you do want something like this. And most of the IPOs have not been good. And then you get a couple of drone ones. And then this is absolute and utter nonsense.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
It's a nice move, man. I mean, if
It's
you got
a nice move. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's a big. It's squeezing right now.
Yeah, it opened at 23 on Friday.
That's crazy.
Like, this is nuts. Like you didn't have to forget about the issue price.
Oh.
Like it's one thing to get the IPO issue and be in the money instantly.
50%.
It's another thing to just flat out buy the open with the rest of the market, and then still be up almost a straight up. It's almost a double up. What? Yeah, 83%.
83%. Yeah.
In
bro.
2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will end just fine. Yeah, nothing could possibly go wrong.
What can we compare this to? I mean, like Circle was a big one too, wasn't it? Like Circle.
Oh, there was a few, and they just they smoked people after.
They got smoked. Like, I mean, look at Circle is even worse, dude. $60 all the way up to 300. You're getting 400% just like that. We had CoreWeave as well come out. And again, finally getting some data where this thing was just like, oh, hey, yeah, first couple of days of the IPO, Neal, and then it's like, yeah, all right, cool, $36 all the way up to $180. That's 200 plus, closer to 300 plus % on that one. 485. I'm way off on that one. So a big time move. We had Figma. I don't think performed as well, but it's just speaking of these IPOs, a lot of them sell off aggressively. Figma. 81 all the way to 143 in the span of a couple of days. Yeah, big time.
That one was just that's a dumpster fire because it trapped you in like 1 day. At least some of these others gave you a shot.
I'm missing one though. I feel like because we did CoreWeave, we did Circle, Figma, and then I think there was another. Oh yeah, exactly. What was that one? BLSH?
Every time I type it in, I go to Blue Ocean first. Yeah, BLSH. I know. I went to Blue Ocean first. Straight up, if you want to make money, every single time I type in Blue Ocean instead of the right thing, and then I have to wait for it to load, it's ridiculous. No, that was nasty. But Figma's especially bad because it didn't really give you that push more than a day or two. So like in Figma, you had to get out effectively at the open on the second day, but it gave you one push. Like it trapped you. Like bullish was bad on day one.
Yeah.
Right, so like it was bad on day one, and then it just continued to be bad. Figma, on the other hand, it entered twice. Figma, on the other hand, was a monster on day one, and if you didn't cover really quickly on day two, that was it.
It was sealed.
Like it trapped you by looking ridiculous on day one, and then absolutely rug pulling on you. All right, we might be looking at some potential dip buys. You have to make a decision on BMNR. That's starting to pull back a little bit. I just want to see if it can pull back into the prior high and then resume the trade to the long side. But I got to watch out for IBIT and ETH here, like still on trend. That's holding higher lows. What is ETH doing? Because obviously BMNR is ETH Treasury. That's holding trends. That's still putting in higher lows. So yeah, there's really nothing that's getting me away from that at all. This SMCI is not looking like it wants to do much of anything. Like it's on the trend line. Like it's about to break. I'm just watching it very close to breaking and then not actually breaking. So don't want to rush into it, but I feel like this could be the next trade for me here, but not going to just chase it because it happens to be off the highs.
Yeah, there's no chance. Man, Darius, good call on the AMD play. You just have to be extremely patient. Like, I mean, we give credit where credit is due. And you're like, hey, it did take some time. Was your single entry the accurate? No, but at the end of the day, you're like, hey, you're going to find a rebound. 273 all the way up to 275. That's a pretty good look. You're having this wedge fail on TSLA, so you those consistent higher lows now being breached with that resistance zone around 393 really coming into factor. Who's driving the market up right now, may I ask? And I already have a good idea, Neal. It's going to start with N and end with A. Okay? So off of those lows, off of that indecision print low, it's just 198 all the way up to 200. Wow. Wow, I was waiting. There we go. Thank you. Apple holding that double bottom on 271.72. Microsoft, I think, was a little bit weaker here this morning as we're going over a couple of them. May as well zoom out and see what we have. Google and Amazon, not too bad, but choppy stuff. And I had that hunch, and that's why I have no issues with not putting on any more risk throughout the day, is that as soon as we heard some of those headlines regarding Iran and Israel and the ceasefire, I knew that it would be somewhat of a chop fest, with the exception of IBIT continuing to climb and volume really starting to uptick. 43.29, not a horrible look there whatsoever. Moving forward, let's take a look at Google. Google, right? Like not doing too much, but holding support levels, a lot of overlapping prints, but nothing to really get overly giddy about, okay? So you have the base, it's holding up. If that breaches, then it's see you later. New high of the day on IBIT, just like that, 43.30. So these are some signs of strength in Bitcoin that I'm personally looking for. Market not doing too much, Bitcoin at high of the days. Heading back towards the Qs, we'll go over Amazon momentarily, but we're nowhere close to the high of the day or this pre-market high, okay? And Bitcoin is surpassing that. Let's head over to IBIT, and then we'll take a look at Amazon. The majority of this gap is being filled. Guys, keep an eye out on these style of plays, is that when you have strong sessions leading into the weekend and you have these massive gap down, yes, it seems relatively bearish, but what are our probabilities of having a gap and go scenario? I had that hunch that we were going to climb. It was just more of a grinder. You have to be more patient and precise on your entries, as it's done multiple liquidity grabs, but it has also respected the volume weighted average price on multiple occasions. Now, as for Amazon, let's see what this dog has been up to. 250. We had a high of approximately 256 last week, so a little bit of a discount from what we were experiencing late last week. And off of the highs, just like that, Neal, $200 all the way up to a high of around 256 is 30%. Now you're only about 2.5–4% off of its highs on Amazon.
Chilling, Amazon.
Chilling.
You're talking about how you like Walmart, and
yeah, Amazon.
Amazon gets you a bit of a piece of all the pies.
Yeah, man.
Right there, you get space if you like it. You get data center if you like it. You got cloud if you want to be in that piece. You got retail up to you know what, and then you get stream. I say you get streaming, but Amazon doesn't care about streaming.
Hell
They
no.
don't need to make money. So, but I guess technically it counts because it does count. So I did reload. It's not necessarily, I guess it's a reload, right? Like it just bought the dip here, saw that high of the day break on IBIT and was able to get this bottom tail, which set up a double bottom. That sort of lets me add here, move the stop up to there, which is about just underneath or just above 22.5, right? So move the stop to just above 22.5. It'll be close to a break-even stop at the blended price, but wanted to push through the highs on BMNR, that is. We have a super chat from son of Daniel Gouda Guru. Love your cheese, which is fine. Afternoon, guys. I'm tempted to buy in phase here based on what looks like a pretty good monthly chart. Well, how good does the monthly chart look? What was the other? There was like a not as good solar name that we were asked about last week, and I remember we were like, I forget what it was. We weren't really that big of a fan of it. What looks like a pretty monthly chart. It doesn't look very pretty unless you're a short seller.
Hey, man. You know what they say, Neal, right?
Well, I don't know. It's still in downward trend, under the 50 period. It just recently, okay, fine. Like I would make the argument, like here it started to look better and then immediately failed. Maybe we meant a monthly. Does it look any better if I go out to another time? No, it does not. Maybe a daily chart looks a little bit better. Stretching. See, the daily chart actually looks a little bit better because the daily chart's giving you, a little bit of a breakout off the bottom on the daily chart. I understand always wanting to pick out these bottoms. It's just such a tricky space. Yeah. It hasn't shown that many signs of coming off the lows here. I don't know, like if you catch the bottom on end phase, is it really gonna, like if it's got upside to maybe recover back into this 100 to 120 area, like it's at 34. Is it asking too much for it to confirm at least above like the 50 period at like 40 to 45? I don't know. I don't like these ones that just reconfirm the downward trend. Like it just popped the 50 period on the weekly to lose it again right after in some market strength. So that, I mean, that's just my read. Like what the heck do I know? You got to do you. I don't think I've even ever owned a solar name, if I'm being real about it. I'm trying to think if I don't think I even had a swing trade on any of those at any point. Like never in Sunrun. I don't think I ever actually bought First Solar. Probably traded it here, and that's about it. So, yeah, again, at the end of the day, like we can just look at the charts, and that's the idea. Like, you know, you guys are talking about AMD. Like, we'll pull it up, and do we see something there? Do we like it? The answer can be a no, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You got to be able to pull the trigger and make your own decision. Let's go to the desk. Sia's got something for us.
Ooh, I didn't get that one.
Thank you, Neal. So let's talk about quick two headlines today. Jersey Mike's, a sandwich company, yes, is filing for an IPO. So Blackstone has bought a major stake in the company in 2024 that was valued the company roughly around $8 billion. According to a franchise disclosure document, Jersey Mike's has reported a revenue of $309.8 million in 2025, up 10.6% from the year earlier. So the chain has also reported a net income of $183.6 million in 2025, which is down from the prior year's income of $238.8 million. Now, Bloomberg has reported earlier this year that Jersey Mike's can seek to raise more than $1 billion at a valuation of at least $12 billion. But there is no further information on this. Their confidentiality is remaining intact right now. Any more updates, I will let you know. Let's move on to our next story. I'm talking about Rivian here. So Rivian's factory has been damaged by a tornado amidst its crucial R2 EV launch. And Rivian's factory in Illinois has been damaged due to a tornado over the weekend. Now, this is according to a message to the employees by the CEO, RJ Scaringe. The tornado has specifically damaged the new area of the plant that was being used for the parts of storage and logistics of the new R2. RJ Scaringe has also said that the operations will resume sometimes this week, but other portions of the plant are still in repair, and currently Rivian is down 2%.
A pretty nice win streak going for it, that's for sure. Like it was like 5, 6, maybe even 7 days in a row. It doesn't look like it's not too bad today. Like it's very, like everything else, you're just looking at a very inside day for sure. SMCI is breaking. All right, so two things are happening. One, this top end of the range in BMNR just sort of reloaded, and we'll try to play that range. And then SMC ISL, I, just broke the trend. So I guess it would have been okay to just punch in without confirmation, but this is going to be a heavy candle. I'll just pop on the offer. Sometimes what will happen is it'll just come and pick you up, and I can still get it on the actual break instead of having to chase it a little bit further down. Stop will go in here.
Dude, what the hell?
As usual. What just happened? See, the thing is, if you keep looking at Avis, it's like, it's just the level of FOMO.
It's not even FOMO, dude.
Well, to a certain extent, it is FOMO, because the first time we brought this up on the show was probably at, like, what, $300?
How crazy is this, though? That's pretty cool, man.
Oh my goodness.
500%. Like, imagine just, okay, yeah, FOMO. Let's just kind of do a scenario. Oh, hey, I like this stock here, Avis budget. I'm thinking about buying it at $120. Boom! Essentially, for the next couple of weeks, you face zero resistance, and your stock is going from $120 up to $584. Think about how attractive. You know what they say?
I promise you, I'd have been at 2/3 at $200.
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
Like that is crazy.
That's how I roll.
You know what they say? The worst thing is when you go to the casino or the horse races the first time
is to win big.
Is to win big.
Of course, it's true. Of course, it's true.
So
why do you think the first time someone new to the poker game comes in, well, you might play a little bit easier and a little bit
crazy?
Oh, you're new to the table? Oh, let's just take it easy on this person.
Man,
you know, just saying, like like that could be the worst case. This was true of a lot of traders Oh, we got a super chat. Let me finish talk quickly. True of a lot of traders. If you started and your first experience trading was like the volatility of the financial crisis, or maybe like the meme craze, very difficult thing to move forward. If you if during one of the crazy easy money periods for trading is when you started,
like COVID.
Yeah, incredibly difficult to recover from that because you just have all the.
Because think about think about it during COVID. We'll get to that. We'll get to your super chat momentarily.
It was like, that's the same.
But think about that year and a half of that COVID trading, where it's essentially every day you come in. Oh, the stock sells a little bit, you buy it up. And then what happens the following years when I started, people are like, oh, wow, the trading is so much more difficult. I started trading in a bear market.
Yeah.
2022, January of 2022 is when I decided to sit at home the whole time.
It's actually better. I don't know. I found like if it's too easy when you start out, it's hard to have.
Absolutely.
It's weird. Like it's very few actually do really well in that situation. Josu with this, Jusu. We have any knowledge about VRT earnings in 2 days?
Look.
Well, I can't predict how the earnings are going to go. I'll be real about it. And I shouldn't say never. I've been in trades going into earnings if I'm swinging something, which I imagine, like if you're in this and you're probably sitting in it, looking at it just continue to break over and over again. What I can tell you is this year, specifically, certainly last quarter, it's been not a lot of earnings names to talk about here, but so far, unless you're like Citigroup and you go into earnings looking like this, well, perfection is pretty much required. And if you don't get perfection when you're priced like this and you've been running this way, there has been a little bit of punishment that takes place. Citigroup was a noticeable example.
I thought that was me.
I didn't miss any spots.
I really thought that was me for a second.
Why do you have, there's like 3 cameras at the back of my head?
That's crazy, man.
I mean, that feels a little excessive, no? We need 3? We need 3 apparently. Oh, thanks.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's
all right, there you go.
very kind of you to say.
Yeah.
Weird, like when we first started, you know how weird it was to have like that many cameras just all around you? And now all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, whatever. No big deal. You have 3 cameras where you only need 1, just roll with it. Down to Sky says, Neal, ARM is strong. I mean, yes. Like ARM looks like Sharif's arms. That's what I'm saying. At least for now. But there's one problem with ARM. And it's not a bad problem to have. It's that there's been one way to trade this over the last couple of years. When it gets close to or under $100, you buy. When it gets close to or around the 180s, you sell. And that has worked over and over and over and over again. So what do you think comes next when after bouncing off $100 again, I know what I do when ARM gets to this price. I take a little bit of profits whenever we tick above. Like once we get a close above, effectively right here, 170, I'm thinking profit taking in the next couple of days. And that's how at some point, this will break this out and be an absolute monster run. But if you're in like, full position in and then take some out and then hold the rest for the long term, I think that can be the way to go. Like they're going into finally going to make their own chips. I think that's good, but they've already told you that's a few years away from having meaningful addition to their revenue. So you got to factor that in. It's always been relatively expensive, so it's not like you're getting a cheap stock at those highs. There's reasons why ringing the registers made sense on ARM up here. But yeah, when it does break out, it could be fantastic. I'm just not the kind of person that's going to constantly bet that it's going to be that, or because I can always have that 80% on.
Oh, there
when
goes
it breaks, which is fine by me. Like I'll continue to take 20% off and then rebuy it when it gets back at the lows. And that's been my plan of action with ARM from the beginning. So I'm already on watch for this. I'll probably throw an order in because we're getting the 170 break today. So I'll probably have an order in some point tomorrow or this week to take some profit and then wait for the eventual big breakout. And when it does, it could be 250, 300. Gotta have a good quarter too. Dara?
Guys, tomorrow, 10 a.m., I could not be more excited, and I actually feel giddy talking about this. We're going to be getting a confirmation hearing tomorrow. Kevin Warsh will be sitting at 10 a.m. in front of the Senate Banking Committee for his confirmation hearing for the Fed chair position. Now, this is going to be really exciting, and I'm not being sarcastic. I truly, sincerely mean it, because this is going to be, I think, the first Fed confirmation hearing we've had in quite a while, obviously since Fed Chair Powell joined. So this is what, I guess, since 2022, and he was confirmed for his second term. But what's also interesting is we're having this confirmation hearing come at a time where we actually even have some Republican senators, mostly Tom Tillis, who is on the Senate Banking Committee, who has said that he's going to be objecting to this nomination and specifically the approval of Kevin Warsh until the Trump administration basically calls off the investigation into Fed Chair Powell, and to a lesser extent also the investigation into Lisa Cook, who is, of course, a member of the Fed Board of Governors. So this is kind of a rundown of his professional history and his monetary policy views. He's actually incredibly hawkish, which is interesting given that we know President Trump wants the rates to be cut. Furthermore, here's a look at his investments. I posted this infographic a while ago. These are both available on X at TTV Research. But guys, I don't think there's anyone, at least that I've heard of, who loves congressional hearings more than me. So I'll be giving you guys, I promise, a very thorough coverage of this event, especially as it relates to the market and any insights we get about Warsh as a result. That'll be coming again, 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. Don't be late. I'll be covering the whole thing on our morning show, Trader TV Live. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Dara. Well, you may not see as much of it in the afternoon, but this market's got plenty of volatility going on with it, and that creates movement. And if you're a sophisticated trader, heck, that's going to be opportunity. Beta Pro by Globex offers Canada's first and longest running suite of leveraged and inverse ETFs that are built for sophisticated investors who understand the risks of leverage and the importance of precision. Its triple leveraged bull and 3x bear ETFs tied to the NASDAQ 100 index are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving traders tools to engage with both upward momentum and market pullbacks. These strategies are currency hedged, seeking to offset U.S. dollar exposure back to the Canadian loonie. For those navigating short-term market moves up or down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for your individual strategy objectives and risk profile. Trade tactically and learn more at betapro.ca or by scanning the QR code out in front of you.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just, well, Fabian just reminded me why there are 3 cameras. And it's very obvious why there are 3. Because we have, when we sit at the desk, we have 3 shots. Me looking at you and talking to you, that's one. Joe, or if it would be Sean or Sharif, his camera talking to you guys. And then there's the one, it's called the buddy shot, believe it or not. That's what
this is, the buddy shot.
And the buddy shot, it's a 2-shot. So now that will have all 3 of those shots. It wasn't immediately obvious to me because, whatever, my brain is the simple mind of a trader and sports fan. It's quicker on the uptake in a lot of other things. It's 3 cameras here, 3 cameras there, Neal. Figure it out. It's not actually crazy at all. Although apparently they're fine-tuning it. I thought it looks fine, but got to make it absolutely perfect is what I'm being told.
Perfection is absolutely key. Man, dude, Neal, so over the past couple of days of you and I saying together, we've had these trades where it's okay, you have the volatility step in, and it's fade to pop. I was looking at Trade Desk at 24.18 roughly for that move lower, and I was okay, you were already so extended here on the day, you have that extra volatility kick in off of that catalyst, and then sure enough, it starts to pull back. So yeah, that was a missed opportunity.
I'm putting up my hand.
Why is that?
Look at that Tesla chart.
Yeah, Tesla breakdown, man. Tesla with the breakdown. I'm thinking maybe a little bit. I mean,
I should have that over.
The trend line break, right?
That's better than the. Yeah. That's easily better than SMCI.
Yeah.
It's yeah, that was better.
Let's send things over to Adara there, guys.
Adara?
Keep an eye here on DFTX and ATAI, so that's Definium Therapeutics, formerly known as MindMed, and then ATAI, that's this Atai Beckley. Both of these, of course, in that psychedelic space and on watch because we know the President Trump of the U.S. over the weekend signed that White House psychedelics order. Now it looks like they've released a PR statement on this. So again, we already knew this was happening. The order was signed on camera. Now we actually get the PR statement on the order that was just released. That release of said order seems to be actually pushing this to the upside. So again, just the White House making people excited over the new psychedelics announcement. The psychedelic stocks on the day 420 seem to be enjoying this little reminder of this news. Back to you.
Thank you, as usual, Adara. Okay, so every now and then we'll get a question in the chat, and it's I'll answer it because it's pretty innocuous, but I'm not entirely sure if you're joking or not. I can't tell if I'm being trolled. Neal, why do you still call it the loonie when the queen is passed and there's a king now? Is that is that a monarchy joke? Or am I answering it seriously? That it's called a loonie because there's just a loon on the thing. Like the loon is like a national bird here, and it's on the dollar. That's why they call it a loonie. But that maybe you might have been joking, and this is some kind of a dig at the royal family that I just went over my head. But yeah, that's the only reason I say loonie.
Yeah.
And I could have said Canadian dollar, but it's a loonie. So we call it a loonie here in Canada.
Yeah.
And that sounds way more interesting than just calling it a dollar. Anyone can say dollar. You guys got the dollar. We have a loonie. Like,
crazy. Yeah.
that's what I try to say. But I feel like that might have been a joke at the royal family. No. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like it's a weird, look, it is an absolutely weird sounding name for a dollar.
Right.
And unless you're Canadian and you actually have seen a loonie, do I have one? This is going to be not cool if I probably don't even have one. Do you have one?
No.
Yeah.
If you guys think that throwing dollar,
I mean, you can just look it up online.
if you guys think that throwing dollar bills is cool, wait till you throw a loonie. Much more fun. Goes a lot farther. All right, guys, let's set things off.
I could make a joke about that, but there's like just there's no appropriate. I mean, you guys can get the idea.
All right.
Let's go to see. Awkwardly change the subject.
IWM currently trading flat. Let's take a look at a couple individual tickers. BE, Bloom Energy. I was speaking with Sharif earlier in the day about this particular stock, and I was just looking at the trajectory that BE has had. Honestly, this, as you all know it, I've been talking about this a lot when I do the small caps. This is one of my favorite stocks, currently up 5.3%. CRDO is almost down, almost 7% down, up right now. This is probably after the company's chief legal officer, Secretary James Lofman, has sold shares worth over $1.6 million. Talking about AGIO, Agios Pharmaceutical is down a whopping 23.39%. This comes after the Novo Nordisk has reported a strong top-line result from a sickle cell disease treatment trial, which is raising concerns about the increasing competition in this sphere. And the uphill battle that AGIO has faced with the development of the sickle cell treatment is probably the reason why it's trading down. Plug is my final ticker for you today. Plug Power is up 11.15%. Nothing. Reason for this is currently unknown, but I'm guessing that it's a result of the company being selected to supply a 275 gigawatt Gen Eco electrolyzer system for a project in Quebec, Canada. Sending it back to you.
Honestly, I should have taken that Tesla trade, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
I went with the break on SMCI. Oddly enough, I was looking at that chart just now. I'll get back to it in a quick little second, but I'll always go with the trade first. Trend break, prior bar stop, already gone. The trend break on Tesla ends up being good, so that's kind of frustrating. BM&R's, the market's not really doing much. So BM&R from the last reload has done nothing, but it is threatening to break down a little bit. So, oftentimes, one of the trades, just to maybe explain, adding in here, one of the things that sometimes I'll do on a trend is if I'm moving, you could have it from VWAP, I could have it on any of those dips, the principle's the same. When it gets up here and then establishes a bit of a bull flag, if I'm gonna trail out underneath that flag, I might just add in front of it and then I'll start scalping inside of the range. So if it just goes sideways, fine, I'm making something while it goes sideways, but I'm already gonna stop out here anyways, so if I can just get long tight to that and then just jump out of it, it's a nice way to play trend if things are getting a little bit boring, but BM&R is, again, not really doing anything. And then that symbol was, the other direction. AGIO, sickle cell is one of the most, it's just a horrible, awful disease. However, tell me that you are a biopharma company that is solely reliant on one thing breaking well for them without telling me that that's true.
Pfizer?
Look at AGIO. Look at today when it's not even that their trial, that there was more competition on that drug. And then look at all of look at these down volume spikes where effectively you can just see the one-day hits that this thing will take when it has anything go bad. It's such a ridiculously hard business. It's really tough to be in any of these things. I was in Viking Therapeutics and got the most, I'm telling you, I've never gotten a God mode fill more in my life.
Oh, snap.
That I just got picked up and was boom. And then was just okay, well, it's also over.
Those are good times.
So here's Viking, hold the 50 period. I'm like, yeah, there was some takeover chatter too. There was other reasons to own the stock. And then, boom, one morning, it just goes ham off a result. 40 up to legitimately in the 60s. I was sitting in like the low 50s range, got filled, and then it was over. Just like that. It was like that day it closed at $25. Like on the day that it basically gave you like the almost a double up. It wasn't quite, it could have been a double up if I'd held it, if I didn't have an order out, and then just done on the same day. And that's how wild they can get. Then it goes back into being normal, and they get another trial result, and then things go, you know what-ish. And sometimes, and this was on a good trial result. Up here, it was on a good trial result. And they sold it off pretty heavily. Although I suppose it's subjective. Like, I can say it was a good trial. I mean, it seemed good to me when I read it, and most of the analysts that were talking about it said that it also seemed good. I'll leave it at that, because the price action would tell you it was devastating. So even like just getting back in and then scalping out and then leaving the stop in, like that'll end up pretty flat too. Like, yeah, it popped to the high, but I'm adding in here, so we lose a few pennies back on the way in. So I don't know about this BMNR. I'm trying to find something that's actually moving and just not discovering it. I might go back over to the well with SMCI because it wicked me out and is resuming the trend. And sometimes that can be a good thing, right? Like get people out. Like I would say, if I like a trade and I'm the topping tail, get back into said trade. And if I can get the same price, I'm just repeating the same setup that I like in a general sense. So I might just jump back into this one because it's an all-day trend break, which at this time of day, I'd rather be involved in something like this, which at least is a higher probability trade for me if I have to jump into something, which I don't. What else is going on here?
NVDA high, the new high.
Real Johnson, yeah, I'll answer in the affirmative there. Not terribly close to myself, but enough to be like, that's an awful disease for sickle cell. Like, the question was just, do I know anybody, friends or family with sickle cell? Close enough. Like no one in my direct family, but close enough that it's and if you see it in a kid, it's just like,
yeah.
You question some things. You question things when you see it. It's an awful. Anyways,
yeah.
Like I always root for these drug companies. Like it's like I'd never want to own them, a lot of them, because like the risk is so big. But then you look at what it is, like the problem they're trying to solve. Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And by the time you hear the news, it's already too late, unfortunately.
Exactly.
So.
Plus, when a report comes out, like it's so difficult to decipher these pharma reports.
Man, oh man, a missed stop here for the move back down in AMD. AMDL, this would have been really nice, 15 all the way down to 22s in off of those lows and just been selling ever since. So it's been a pretty good one there. I mean, Tesla getting some form of a bounce, but I thought we would get a curl over. Meanwhile, NVDA is going opposite right now. Market's trying to participate, but it's been a buy program off of this low ever since. You get 1.6%, and it's just been a steady grind higher throughout the intraday session here. As soon as you break through VWAP, it's off to the races. You have a little bit of a consolidation there, and there you go. Hindsight being 20/20, obviously, but it's been definitely the stronger of the names. Apple, just above VWAP, starting to get a bounce in Tesla. Microsoft, still hovering around those lows. Amazon, Meta, how have you been performing here today? Not that well, but still holding off on this 5-minute print. We had a volatility spike at those lows, and we were talking about it not too long ago. Just like last time we were here on this show, just stating the fact that all right, we see the same print on multiple occasions across multiple names. You have to try to take advantage of it. That I did not do, but next time, regardless if it works or not, we won't allow that to slip by us. Now, as for BMNR, coming in off those highs, fills the gap, right? So you just come right in soft fill and then eventually curl off of those levels. So not a horrible look whatsoever. There it is, Netflix to $94. Been off this bounce. So I forget who was mentioning that they're long off of these lows. If you've been sitting in this all day, not too bad. You get $1 plus on that one. As for the daily, massive gap down, volume right here. As long as we continuously see buying pressure step in off of these levels, then sure enough, maybe at some point we can start to fill this gap right here. I mean, as for that, guys, we went through the larger names, the more liquid ones, AMD from a daily. This is just a breath. Like, this doesn't even seem like anything whatsoever. It's going to hurt the long term, and nice, cool, considering you've had 15 out of the past 16 sessions, been straight and up and to the right. You're going to see the market start to cool down. And if we come to a conclusion relatively soon, or Donald Trump states that he's going to extend this ceasefire, it's going to be bullish for the market, and it's going to be risk on at that point. Like we were mentioning last week as well. I knew as soon as we heard that the Strait was open, it was a risk-on type of day. You keep on trying to hammer those things.
Fire.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it was super hot fire, and I wouldn't be surprised if at some point today we see a little bit more of a curl over just due to the fact.
But what's crazy is, like, today was, in some things, like, if you look at Bitcoin was pretty bullish all day long.
Yeah, very strong today.
Like, I came in initially, probably rightfully, I think, from price action standpoint, looking for an opportunity for short. And there were a couple of moments that you could have been with it, but it's been bought up most of the day. Like, not nearly as strong as what happened on Friday, but there was a lot of strength out there in Bitcoin, especially, again, relative to the market. Like, it's not like the Qs were, like, it's a good buy off the lows, but we're not back at the highs. Like, we're still red on the session. Meanwhile, you've got this big time lead on IBIT, which, while percentage down more, it filled in more of the gap. So there were more willing buyers into this gap. That could be a function of it just going down more. Right? There's a lot that goes into it, but for now, like, there's plenty of kernels of strength out there. Like, I love this. I love the Apple chart today, because in a boring market, like, Apple's structure looks so darn good. Like, it's all the holds you want. It got a little bit boring when it broke the 50 period. It just seems like it's very slowly cruising back to 280. This market is about, it's basically like you're just running a relay and we're just passing the baton. Like, you pass the baton from one space to the next, and then one day it's the memory chip names that are going, and then someone in the Mag 7's got to do the heavy lifting. Then we get the software names that'll pick up the baton for a day or two, and like, who knows what tomorrow will bring. But Apple, when everything was going downside this morning, like, it felt like Apple was one of the strong names sort of leading us up and holding up. It's only 1%, but sometimes 1% is. This
is a good question.
Like
Before we send it off, so we know that off of 20%, so like say off of the highest 20%, we classify as bear market.
Yeah.
So at what point do we classify that the underlying asset or the market is back into a bull market? So say, for example, what I'm getting at here is you have 45% to the downside in IBIT. So if it climbs 25%, but yet it's still down, does that classify it as going into a bull market?
That's a great question. I'm not even sure I don't even know the answer to that question. Like, my gut always tells me, for sure, the easy answer is, well, when someone says you know it when you see it, well, if you get back to the highs, then you know it is. That being said, I'd have to ask. I'm not actually sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a serious question. So where we're currently trading
maybe when it gets back to
it's 39%, right?
Do you not have to get back to the highs, or do you just need to retrace 50%?
Or are you up 20%? Like, if you're up 20% off the lows, but yet the underlying is still down.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't math there, right?
Yeah, because whenever you have a distinct down moves, it's easier to have a good percentage.
So essentially, what I'm getting at here is from peak to trough, you're down 50% in Bitcoin. In order for it to be classified back into a bull market, it has to climb 50%.
I feel like it has to get to the high.
So essentially, if you're down 50%, you need the stock to double before.
But if you never break the high again. Right? Like, this is the way I look at it. You go any amount down. If you never break the high again, then in theory, you could just be putting in a lower high and continuing the trend down.
Yeah.
That being said, I've never even asked that question. I've been trading a long time. I'm not even sure I've heard anybody ask that. You know what's a good question? I don't think I've heard anybody ask that question before.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys have in the chat. I don't think I've ever heard that question.
It was kind of derived.
Maybe just throw in like, what does ChatGPT say? Or more importantly, what does a better AI say than ChatGPT?
What does Claude say?
Yeah, like, what does Claude say about that?
This is great.
I'm not asking it because, like, I'm staring at this, like, oh, we're going to go to see it, but I'm staring down, like, the same thing happened the second time a trend breaks. I might just end up going twice into this trend break, and then it breaks out the high. Like, the morning was so much better than that.
What it was derived from, essentially, is because someone mentioned in the chapter, like, hey, if Bitcoin climbs to 80%, it's officially out of, or $80,000, it's officially out of a bear market, but it's not.
Well, if we don't have an answer, then how do I don't know?
Yeah, we don't know. But maybe Sia might know as we send it off.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
Sia.
Don't throw that on me, Joe. I'm going to send it back to you right after I'm done. So let's take a look at the board today. Well, the SPY is trading flat at the moment, but let's take a look at sectors. Electric tech, there's a mixed sentiment here, followed by tech services. Most of it in the red. Oracle is up 1%. Netflix down 2.64%. Meta is also trading negative 2.53 after Bank of America had cut its price target on Meta to $820 from $885. Then we also have LLY, Eli Lilly, after its news today about agreeing to acquire Kelonia in a deal that could be worth up to $7 billion, currently trading flat. Then we also have Tesla earnings coming Wednesday, April 22nd, post-market. Then Intel currently trading negative 4.46%, but Intel is also reporting on Thursday, April 23rd, post-market. What do we have next? We also have Visa and Coca-Cola earnings next week on the 28th of April. Then also let's take a look at energy here. Energy overall, I would say, is having not the best, not the worst kind of day, but it is majorly in the green, leading with FANG is leading, up 2.23%. Overall, I would say, not a bad day in the market.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Sia. So I just found the answer. I strongly dislike the answer to this question. But it is true that it is just as simple as any 20% retracement from the lows, which in theory sounds good. If the market, let's just imagine the market's at 100, just to make it really simple. You go to 80, you're in a bear market. It bounces from there, and it goes 20% and gets back to 96. I can live with that. Like, no one's going to argue with it. That's fine. I can live with that. The problem becomes when you have an extreme situation.
Yeah.
Let's imagine that same thing, but you go from 100 to 10. Oh, so now you're going to tell me that you go from 100 to 10, and the bear market just continued until something was dead.
Yeah.
And then it goes back up to 12, and now bear market exit. That's where that breaks down. And now that just makes me think the entire methodology, it's a cool thing to think about. But now all of a sudden, I no longer am going to care when someone says, we're officially out of the bear market. Well, the way in which that's measured is nonsensical in my opinion. I can understand 20% from any high. But don't tell me that, oh, you're out of the bear market just because you bounced 20%.
Yeah.
It's all relative to how crappy the bear market was in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
If it wasn't that bad, then yes, 20% is fine. But if it was a disaster, then 20% is utterly meaningless. That's just literal math. See, now I didn't know the answer to the question before, and now the answer just ticks me off. Because it's stupid.
Didn't you put something into, what is that?
I'm just being that guy now. Anyways, it's almost 3:30. Let me look at the early look imbalances because
this guy's flustered now. You gotta change it. We gotta change it.
But like, it's terminology that gets used in the industry forever, and it's literally stupid when you actually think about it objectively. Yeah, there's really nothing on the early look. SGov's useless. NCLH is 980,000 to the sell side. Maybe we'll see something with SanDisk. We know on Friday it got added to the S&P. As of Friday, it was added to the the NASDAQ 100. Every now and then you might see like a day two kind of thing, but we won't know anything about a NASDAQ stock until about 350. You got SMR as a small buy. Hey, there's a stock we didn't look at today. 100% we didn't look at SMR today. That was a mover last week. I don't know why we didn't. So early look of 600,000. CRM, early sell of 570,000. Those are all pretty chump change. Hey, SMR is green. Okay. Congratulations, SMR shareholders. Today was green. Or is green. Friday was green, which means it was up for like 2 days in a row. It's pretty good when you consider how SMR has been doing. It's actually really good, but it's not really doing that much, up like 0.5. That imbalance would need to be millions a little bit. Have Neal cover beyond now. Why? Oh, because it's going back to $1? Yeah, I'm not falling for that trap. I don't know, man. It's a boring afternoon. I've already shorted this thing twice on a trend break. It wicked once. I'm like, okay, I'll short it this time giving it to the actual high, just taking a little bit less, so I'm risking about the same the second time through. It's not even trying to break down. I'm probably gonna have to wait for the imbalances to maybe bail me out of this one. So then trying to short Beyond Meat when it's just boringly gliding into the high of the day, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's get right on that. Yeah, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think tomorrow, Beyond Meat actually gets pretty interesting tomorrow, because that was a pretty classic heavy fail of the dollar level, full retracement, not just full retracement and then some this morning. Like it broke down under 80 cents for a bit. So it's a full retracement and then some. So if it comes back and challenges the dollar, I don't like Beyond Meat. I'm not ever buying the stock in my personal account. I probably wouldn't swing it either. But undoubtedly, this is a potential breakout trade tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think I'm remotely interested in being overnight. But if we come in tomorrow and it's just chilling out in the low to mid 90s, well, that's probably worth you get a 102 break that you can give 5 cents. The risk to reward on that is fantastic. Like, you don't need it to do that much. And look how much room it's got. Like, there's all kinds of room on the daily chart for this thing. Mm-hmm. It could squeeze to anywhere. It could squeeze to easy like $1.50, $1.60. That's the first place I'd be looking for. And if you can risk 5 cents to get that kind of a move, even if you get a bunch out halfway, you're still looking at 3 to 1.
All right. Yeah, good stuff. Okay. I appreciate that, guys. There's a lot of good questions going on here in the chat. I mean, I don't know if you can just modify, but I understand what you're getting at, essentially, at the end of the day. But nonetheless, what's going on here? We've got a lot of things going on. Okay. CMP to make it easy. Yeah, thanks. You've seen the struggles there, so yeah.
What struggles?
I struggle, can't pull things up. Compass Pathways. Okay. Not too bad. Big time breakout on this one. Compass Pathways. What about it, Sia? You like this?
I'm just actually listening to the Bloomberg Live right now, and they're interviewing the CEO. So I was like, oh, this is a very cool stock to watch out for right now. It's on the Russell 2000 too. So. Okay,
so small cap name.
Yeah.
Good call out there. I like that. It's been strong today. Not like some of the other names. I mean, Tesla. Wow, are you kidding me? Yeah, I know, Assassino, man. This thing just decided to break up and towards the highs with multiple attempts. Oh my Lanta, there it was, essentially to take the long off of 391.04 and then off to the races to the backside of that trend. So we're right back towards this range high. Pretty quick too, so a nice little look there on TSLL. AMD is starting to recover. The Q's holding up above the volume-weighted average price, so a choppy one nonetheless, though, Neal. If you ask me, look at this for the bulk of the session. You were trading within this range here on Tesla. What happened?
So simultaneously, just as the second time, what's his face comes out, SMCI.
Yeah.
Then I was literally just talking about how tomorrow this would look really good for a breakout. 3:30. If you're a day trader, this is not what I don't want to see this break happen at 3:30.
Did MSOS break out?
No, it's Beyond Meat. It did the dollar break now, but I don't want to chase this now, because to me, all of what I was describing doesn't really apply for the next 27 minutes. I'm looking for that to happen in the morning, maybe even like the pre-market. I want that set up. When you've got all day to go from $1 to $1.60, I don't see any chance that it's going to make that move, which makes the risk to reward totally different. I mean, I'm not going to be involved. So, congratulations if you're still holding Beyond Meat.
Neal, look at this.
Good. MSOS did hold.
Right, where did it hold at?
The latest dip held $4.22. Twice, $4.22. So not exactly $4.20.
But pretty close.
There were crazier things than just buying this. The problem is, if you bought it at $4.20 this morning, you had to hold it against you several times for legitimately no reason. No catalyst other than the date.
Yeah.
Which
I don't know.
I mean,
bravely, Guy Churchill can go on.
Idea in the world.
He can go on timeout.
Who's going in timeout?
Guy Churchill.
Oh, that's just cool.
Yeah. You could definitely go on timeout.
Why are we timing people out? How bad could it be?
Would you want to read it? So, at least you can laugh about it.
Look, I'll tell you this right now. I don't ever take myself so seriously
No.
that I can't laugh at myself.
Yeah,
Like, I was
I
like,
get annoyed, but
but you know what? Here's the difference. It was like whatever comment, and then I was on tilt. Well, yeah, I was kind of I'm kind of peeved that Beyond Me did happen, but at the same time, at the end of the day, I'm not FOMOing into it. Like, there's moments where like you're talking about it, you like that setup. It's like, yeah, this is setting up. Probably gonna be on my watch, just write down the iPad, all that good stuff. And then this happens, and all of a sudden it goes from a potential like A+ setup tomorrow to, well, it's like a C+1 to try to take today to get a little bit out of it, which is not my cup of tea. And then I can be peeved that the market like robbed you of an opportunity, but whatever. Like tomorrow, like, the thing about the stock market is there's going to be something else the next day anyway. So I don't FOMO into trades anymore because I missed something else. I used to, like anybody else would.
that comes with it. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, I'm sitting here, I don't see anything overly attractive. Were these like B setups that I missed up, or like C quality setups that I was like, okay, yeah, hesitant to pull a trigger on, but I don't feel any type of way. Like I have risk left on the day, and outside of the first hour of the session, I literally haven't put on a trade. I've just been yapping around. Do I want to? But I also want to see something where it's going to really put probability in my favor. And exactly, it has to be worth it. And I mean, it's like, hey, we're going to put some shares on, so I need to see that opportunity just kind of fall in my lap. All right, guys, let's hand it off to Sia.
So the dollar strength is being driven by a renewal of tensions between the U.S. and Iran. Reuters has reported that the U.S. dollar has regained some safe haven status demand as investors are moving in the direction towards U.S. assets in between the conflict with Iran. Also, the British pound is under pressure as well for some of the same reasons as the U.S. dollar, but the pound is also pulling back due to the widening Iran conflict that is pushing traders into safer currencies and safer assets. Now, this does not necessarily mean that anything is wrong with the UK economy specifically, but it also does reflect a broad market fear where the pound gets hit, alongside other risk currencies. That's all. Sending it back to you.
Thank you very much, Sia. Always want to check. You know what? We talk about stable coins a lot.
Yeah.
We talk about how the dollar is affecting the metals. But the dollarization, like one of the reasons, for the first time, well, maybe it's not the first time. Well, it felt like the first time that I heard anyone talk about stable coin adaptation and some nations being hesitant over it because of more dollarization. Like actually out loud saying, well, we're skeptical of the stablecoin thing because it's just going to be more US dollar dominance, which in my opinion was like half the theory behind it in the first place. That's the reason they were pushing it, is because they wanted to make sure people stay on the USD, even as record amounts of countries were trying to push away from it. So anyways, it's always, I don't know, I always sort of think in those terms, like where is the money going to flow next? Because ultimately, if you looked at gold, one of the early signs that it was going to do that pop was all of the foreign buying. And if there is hesitancy in the stablecoin market in the international community, it does limit the upside some. I'm not saying it's a nothing burger, but, oh, that sucks. I didn't realize this had happened. JL8, Netflix. Yeah, we didn't pay attention to Netflix day 2. That lost the bid today. But you know what? I think this can be a buying opportunity. I'm just not sure I'm there yet. Like I've been looking at, I think we said this, I'm pretty sure we said this on Friday or Thursday afternoon. One of the two I know. It's either the 50 period, but in the range of the original pullback from 90 or the 50 period. I'm gonna look in that range. So we could lose the 50 and I'd still be okay with it. I wanna see the bounce happen in here. I feel like it would be a bad sign if Netflix retested the lows at this point, unless something crazy happened in the overall market, which I'm not getting any sense that the market's looking that bad. Like that would, the only excuse for it getting back here is that we lose the bid in the market in general.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this thing needs to hold 90 to 92.
Yeah.
Or it's a bad sign. That's all. I'll leave it at that.
Some people saying hood in the hizzy. Let's see it. Are we really in the hizzy?
We love hood.
Do we love hood? Yes, we do.
I know you do too.
We love Hood, baby.
You've been in it longer than I have.
Yeah.
I'm a new shareholder. Literally this year is the first time I ever bought shares in the stock.
You know what, man? Like I mean, at the end of the day, it was kind of like I mean, it's tough to compare it, obviously, aside from what I personally see. It's just the observation of a company going through an exponential growth cycle. And obviously, a lot of it had to do with the crypto boom and cryptocurrency moving higher. But Robinhood as a platform all around, their gold memberships were increasing at a triple-digit clip rate. Respectively, you had options activity hitting that 1,000%. You had the increase in transactions hitting triple digits. And it was over a couple of quarters where we just see this company continuously growing extremely fast. I was like, okay, as soon as I seen 700% in the options activity increase year over year, I'm like, that was my green light to go. And it was somewhere around like, I think it was like $37 or something along those lines. Anywhere in between that April reporting season is where I really started to get involved with Robinhood. And we were fortunate enough to catch it all the way up to $160. And then obviously it gets cut in half. I did buy a little bit more. So I sold. I sold like, I think it was like 20%, Neal, at 130. I bought some more back at 120. And then sure enough, it decided to slide all the way down to $63 with a 57% haircut. Now starting to find somewhat of a rebound. Let's see if we can climb. I mean, crypto activity, unfortunately, is really correlated with this name, but I think they have a lot going for them. They have the gold membership, but then also just the fact of the tokenization of equities, and they're already doing that within the private market. Excuse me, and you have access to it in Europe as well too. So I mean, things that take a little bit longer to happen, but in the long run, they're going to be one of the first to class to have the tokenization of like real world assets and equities, which I think is going to be absolutely massive for a name like Robinhood. A high of the day of around 92.50, 91.10 we're trading at right now. So I mean, I like it a lot, and I'm going to continue to like it until otherwise. And you know what? I think it's one of the younger generation styled apps, right? Like, I mean, I understand what happened with GameStop and everything along those lines, but I feel like it kind of gives
they've moved past a lot of that.
They're past that, right? Like it kind of gives the gamification feel of the actual markets, and I think that's why traders and investors use Robinhood.
I tend to agree. I'm not gonna add anything more intelligent to that.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that when a stock is falling, there's really only, like, you can either have like some magical level that you're just absolutely right on, or you can have a best guess.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll lean to, like, if it's a mature enough company, I'll just look at like different like valuation levels. Like, okay, well, if one of the mags gets under like into the low 20s or like into the teens, okay, well, I'll buy some when it dips under 20 PE. And then if it gets to 15, I'll buy some more. Like, but if I don't have that because it's not mature enough, I will literally just look at the chart and sort of say, okay, well, here's the gap. And I use the drawing tool. I should use the drawing tool. Oh, wait, that's Fibonacci's. I should use that more. Like, if this is the gap to support, like if I just look at that, that works out to whatever it does, right? Like you're talking like $120 worth of range. Like I might just look at half of that and say, if it starts bouncing halfway through that range, then I'll like some there, and I'll like some there, and I'll like some there, and then now I'm in that stock. And now I just own it, and whatever happens, happens. And oftentimes, like sometimes you do that, and you get filled once, and you're like, yeah, ha, 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 in your face, I got the right entry. And other times it goes all the way down, and you're just sitting in it till it turns. But if you like it for the long term, sometimes you have to live with it for sure. 7 minutes to go till the imbalances come out in earnest, and still NCLH for like 900,000. Nothing too crazy. Slow Motion Joe says bull over Robinhood. I beg to differ, sir. Just as was said in one of my favorite westerns of all time. Yeah, I beg to differ, sir.
Yeah.
Because with Bull, that's a game for blood right there. Robinhood never bamboozled you the way that Webull did. And I was in Webull off the $10 level. It was great when it was holding $10. Ever since, just nasty.
Dude, I mean, like...
Just nasty. I just feel like I'd rather take the name that I feel more confident in as a business.
I mean, as for the IPO on Robinhood, it was mad garbage.
Well, I'm not saying
Yeah.
But like the Bull was pretty trash If you bought this.
I mean, it dropped, like, dude,
What are
think
you
about it,
gonna do?
$84 all the way to $7.60. That's 91% in the first year or so of its trading.
I think Rebound will probably come back. I would even argue right now it looks pretty solid, maybe even for a swing trade. I might have gotten back into this if I didn't put money into Robinhood.
Yeah, Weeble's been significantly garbage for a long time.
I was buying one of three things. The plan was actually to be SoFi, and then at the moment where I was looking at SoFi, I preferred Robinhood and certainly preferred that to Webull as well. So I just feel like, you know, you make those decisions, but you make bad ones too. Like, I'll be the first person to tell you over and over again that it seemingly was just dead wrong to have sold AMD at the highs to then buy NVIDIA on the dips. Like, that hasn't worked out at all. I would have been better off just holding AMD. Oh well, that sucks. But you got to make a judgment call at the moment.
Yeah.
I think it was probably not that bad of a decision to sell a bunch of shares at 250. It was just the wrong decision to not just buy them back at the 200 period moving average. I feel like that was low-hanging fruit, but I looked at it, and remember what I told you before? I'd say it because it's true. With big cap names, I was like, which one do I like, when the market looked weak, which one do I like at a value? And I just simply liked the value proposition from PE based on NVIDIA. So that's the one I just blindly buy in the dip when it gets to that support level because I like the PE at that over AMD. And that ended up being the wrong thing to do. But you just stick to whatever works for you over a longer period of time. Usually that tends to work out for me more than it doesn't, and leave it at that. But AMD is just, it's on one. There's no other way to put it. Oh, you know what we didn't really talk too much about as we kill 4 more minutes till the imbalances? Really, really solid bounce back for Marvell.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like this morning, it's the kind of like reversal on a story. Because if you're just tuning in now, Marvell gapped up, hit as high as 153 in the early market, the overnight in the early market, on this like Google deal for AI chips, and then all of a sudden there was some of the information. You had multiple sources coming out saying it was bunk and that Alphabet was talking to everybody and this was not exclusive to Marvell, and yet it's able to almost come all the way back into the 150 level. So it rebounded, didn't really fill in more of the gap. I think I was looking for 142. This morning, yeah, it was like 142 I was looking at for a dip buy. Nowhere even close, and it's gonna close still up 6.5%. So that's pretty bullish to come into tomorrow with. Like I like that recovery. It's almost a full V-shaped recovery, holding a lot of that gap in a situation where it could have got nasty. Because a lot of people were trapped in that long early morning thinking this was going to be the runner today, and it recovered pretty well. Adara?
Keep an eye here on ASTS. Not moving too much here, but I am seeing reports for the last couple of minutes suggesting that the FAA, Federal Aviation Authority, has ordered a mishap investigation into that Blue Origin New Glenn 3 second stage failure after the rocket failed to place this ASTS Bluebird 7 into the correct orbit. So now Blue Origin is going to need more FAA approval or corrective action before you can resume flights. Obviously more of a Blue Origin story than ASTS, but indirectly or tangentially rather related to ASTS. Just keep an eye on them. This is being reported by Reuters. Back to you.
I feel like that deserves. And if you have to ask which word was word of the day, then come on, son.
It's funny because I feel like every time I say tangentially, you guys press word of the day.
One more time, Adara.
Whether or not that's true, Adara,
It is.
we do now.
Thank you.
We really do now. I'm not, see, and this is, now it's a thing. Trust me, it's going to be a thing. Well, the word of the day did start because it's not just Adara. Sharif drops tons of school words. Like you sit next to him on the midday all day long.
I do.
He'll just randomly throw in like, huh? Like this isn't a game of Scrabble. Okay, fine, you read more than me. I thought I read a lot until you run into Adara and Sharif and their vocabulary is ridiculous. It's like when I was a kid, like my family, we would play Scrabble sometimes like after dinner. Scrabble and dominoes at the table. And my parents were ruthless. There was no, let's play reasonably so the kids have a chance. No, they played like cutthroat.
To win, man.
To win against each other, which meant that I had no chance sitting at the table. My older brother, he's just older than me. Like I had no chance. I'm like, what is going on here? It was intense. Man. I'm guessing we would not want to play against you. I would never want to. I would.
Well, I was
lose
actually
for
just
sure.
gonna say, like, as of this weekend, I was looking into legit competitive Scrabble tournaments. So I'm like, I'm really, really into Scrabble. I think that also is part of where like the word stuff comes from, or at least they, you know, integrate with one another. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cutthroat, the world of competitive Scrabble. Like, I do not know if I'll survive, but yeah, I mean, this is a real community that's out there, guys.
I have a weird question. Can you bet on competitive Scrabble? Do they have like?
Oh my God, Neal, this is a brilliant question. Not to my knowledge, though, and I think also because a lot of people are like pretty well matched, I feel like it would be, like based on what I've seen, it'd be kind of tough to bet. I probably wouldn't want to place money on it because I think it's a lot of like, you know, what's in the tile bag, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, that's it. I gotta look into this. It's pretty.
Where I was sort of going with this is like in the poker world, like it's a thing where you would back a player in a tournament. And I'm just simply saying, you seem like you would be a person if you applied yourself to Scrabble, you'd be dominant. Not that we'd actually want you to do that because we need you here, but I don't know if you ever did. I feel like you'd probably crush it. So, but I have no idea if you could even bet on it. But like that's what in poker, it's a really big deal.
Sure,
like,
there's a
it's like
form.
you
can bet on anything, honestly.
10K buy-in to like to the main event, you'll see dudes get staked. And we actually had a thing, Imbalances are gonna come out, I'll finish that thought in a second, because we actually considered sending somebody to the World Series of Poker as like a reoccurring thing. Like everybody on the trading floor we'd play a tournament and everyone would buy in, and the winner of our tournament would win and then have the entry fee and then travel expenses to go see to play in the World Series. We never ended up doing it. JBLU with a sell, 2.5 million share sell side. Workday 1.3. Netflix is a buy of 1.2 million. NCLH, BTBT is 900,000 to the buy side. Walmart's a small sell. None of the big Mag 7 names, but Netflix kind of counts. Pretty small imbalance. Barely moved it on Netflix, 1.2 million. That moved it about 20 cents, 25 cents at best. Go figure, like we were joking around about Beyond Meat, and then Beyond Meat might have actually been the most.
Been hot, man.
That was probably the best opportunity today. Like if you look at this afternoon, like show me something that was better. And I know it doesn't look like much, but if you're being real about day trading, if you show what was better than a 98-cent breakout on Beyond Meat, risk to 95, 3 cents worth of risk, it consolidates 108 to 110, so call it 09s. So even if you don't do that well on your out, like you're still talking 1.5 to 1, because that's 3 to 1. So even if you're getting out all up in here, that's still 1.5 to 1. Even if you stink on your exits, you're getting 1.5 to 1. That was a good breakout. So
Adobe Auto. Congratulations.
Darn if I thought that was going to be true. I didn't think that was going to be true, of all people. Cool Brioche says GMX was better. So yeah, GMX Robotics was better than Beyond Meat. Possibly, I haven't looked at it, so I have no idea. Was it though? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it was. Because then you're probably trying to take. But you know what? That's tougher. Because Beyond Meat's already in your radar when it makes a breakout. This is doing nothing. You pick it up on the volume scanner, and as it's increasing, like you got to just gut it out to buy this 55-cent break, even though the volume's pretty low, and then the volume comes in after the fact, and then kind of rugs everybody. The short, second time through VWAP was pretty good. Yeah, there's great opportunities in GMEX too. I can't argue. I just feel like the Beyond Meat one was probably a little bit easier for most people. I'm going to double check them. How did the metals do? We were talking about them before. Silver, same range. That was disappointing. Yeah, I thought there might have been something more interesting in silver today. Like I was more active on it early, and then it just stayed in the range-bound trade. Like short early, long, short, get out. Didn't break down, didn't break out, so stay sideways. There's a lot of this sideways action. Ian Rispetto is asking what everyone else is asking about CAR. Why is it doing this?
The imbalances are
Because
pretty.
somebody's screwed short.
Someone is real.
And then when someone gets out, someone else is screwed short.
Big
and then
time.
they get out, and then someone else is.
Yeah, man. I'm not even gonna lie, man. I'm being pretty patient on this one. I kind of do want to just buy a put on it.
At some point, but I've said it
At some
before.
point, yeah,
At some point, there was it Friday? It was one day last week. All morning, I was looking for a short setup.
Yeah.
I was like ready to hit it. It just never looked like a short. And someday I'm going to take a day trade on this short, but like it has to look so perfect, and then I'll take a shot at it. Because when you try this one like on a failed break, like you're risking $10, $15. Like, it's just, I don't think there's going to be another way to do it. Like, you're just going to get it in and be like, if it breaks this $10 or $15 level, great, but you're looking for $100.
Yeah.
Like 50 to 100. Like, everything's going to be expanded. So you're just going to use less shares and you're going to have that big of a range on it. And I'm pretty sure we can still, we're getting free locates on CAR. Right? Like, we're getting free locates on. I have no idea what anybody else is, but we get free locates on Avis. We don't have to pay for it, which makes it pretty dangerous too. Like,
yeah, I wanted to touch on the imbalances here, Neal, just a little bit. PCG, I mean, there's nothing crazy big, right? Like NCLH with 938,000, VZ typically on a PCG, which I have my eyes on right now, but it's just not much of a mover, to be honest with you. So nothing outstanding really this morning or this afternoon on the imbalances. Can get up off of those highs with that 9-1. Okay, it's grew a little bit here now. Pair volume at 417 though, Neal, 417,000. So I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's just like, hey, didn't find anything that we were in love with, and nothing on the imbalances that say like we're gonna hammer this trade right now. A pretty choppy session, if you ask me, right? Like
I tend to agree.
Yeah, like like we didn't do too much. As for a range, the majority of the move happened after the first hour. After that, it was just like, okay, yeah, this earlier intraday zone was going to be our resistance. We're not going to breach that. At no point did we. We did have the ability to hold VWAP, but 647 here on the triple Qs, we didn't even come close to breaking it or anything along those lines. So, I mean, as for anything outside, see, that was last week. Oh, okay, we gotta change the sitting. I don't know why it's doing that. We'll see a little bit better now. So I mean, there it is, right? Like you just hold that bit, you hold this resistance prior support level, and then off to the races as it goes. What's that? Car?
Oh no, super chats.
Oh, super chat? Yeah, but pull the super chat up. We'll go over that. TSLA dark pool 317 candle. Oh, Tesla at 317. Yeah, we'll take a look at that one there. What do car options tell you? Yeah, we'll go over that momentarily as soon as we finish up with the super chat. I didn't see it. Maybe I constantly have dark pool wicks, but I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't see anything around 317 from a dark pool standpoint. It might just be a platform thing. But we have another one. Do you see anything on Tesla at 3?
I looked. Yeah. I actually have one of my charts. I have fewer filters on, so it catches more dark pools, and that chart doesn't have it either. So I don't see it easy peasy. But yeah, thanks for asking. We have another super chat. I love it. We got Good Clean Joy. Hey, that's the best time. What's your opinion, or maybe not? What's your opinion on Beyond Meat? $1 now. Well, I guess we did cover it, because there was a lot of chatter about Beyond Meat. So we did go over the dollar break. I, of course, explained how it looked really good for the exact move that's happening now. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm going to put on the iPad for tomorrow if we get a dollar break, but I don't like it because there's not as much upside today. Like, I think if it did it yesterday, you have a better shot of just having a straight squeeze for the first half of the day into like 150, or at least this range here at about, it's like 160 and then the 200 pre-moving average. But now all of a sudden it gets, A, it's already happened, so you have to hold overnight, which we can't do. And then B, you have the aftermarket to contend with, where it could just go ham, or they could do whatever they want overnight, like offerings, all that kind of nonsense. So I don't like that aspect of it. I would have preferred it did this same move today, and I don't think it's a long-term uptrend. This, to me, with Beyond Meat, just seems like a relief rally off the bottom, like it always is. I don't know if we have another one. We do have another one.
Damn.
It's Davis, ER. I would love to sell a short option in CAR.
So you would love to sell a call on it? Because that's the only thing you can essentially do if you're bearish. Or are you bullish on buying and selling the put? Or would you like to buy a put is what maybe they meant. But they're saying sell a short option? My
guess is, if you're, given the context of what we're saying, I'm guessing they meant buy a put. But I don't know that that's what you meant. I would guess that you meant buy a put. Like you're thinking, like you think this is down. Like, I don't know who would actually want to be bullish on it up here. I would think anybody gambling on it is looking for the turn because they think it's going back to 200. Like really? Would there be anybody in our chat that actually would want to be bullish on it outside of a really short time period? I'm making, that's my assumption. But anyways, let's go to Adara. We have.
You mean buy a put? I think, yeah, we'll go over to Adara, but you're saying you would remain bullish on this thing? If you sell a put, you're bullish. We'll go off to Adara, and we'll talk more about CAR, because I'm looking at the options chain. I want to pull this bad boy up.
A little meta headline here, nothing massive by any means here for META, but I thought worth mentioning, Bloomberg reporting that WhatsApp, which of course is owned by Meta, is going to be selling a new premium subscription that contains more custom features, so kind of similar, I guess, to what META has tried to do with Instagram. Yeah, WhatsApp premium feature on Watch. Back to you.
Yeah, Frank freaking. All right, guys, this is essentially what we're looking at here. Now, I'm way out of the money. There's going to be a time. We don't know when. I think that's the question here, is like we're so intrigued, but there's so many things that we have to take into consideration. Volume issues, massive amount. Like there's one individual at the 615 level. Were we talking about 670 not too long ago, Neal?
Think so,
Today, yeah. I mean,
I remember this.
Yeah. So this is what I would do, okay? Hypothetically speaking. So if we were to find somewhat of a turnaround in this name, Neal, so we're trading at $600. I would buy something along the $450 put, because when it's going to sell, so $450 is going to put us at $1,600 still. But if it falls at a rapid pace and just completely capitulates, then that appreciation of that contract will grow at a little bit higher of a percentage rate than what the at-the-money contracts will. And the reason why I would do that and I would trade a little bit lower, because the higher we get in strike prices, the more increase implied volatility is going to factor in, and therefore making it much more expensive. So I would want to get something that's cheap, and I would want it to work quick and extremely quick.
Right.
Yeah,
there you go.
So far out of the money.
And with that, we're going to ring the closing bell, and the perfect answer to that question. And that's why we appreciate it. Make sure you send those super chats in. You don't have to, but we're here because we're all looking. Everybody's looking at cards like what to do. Well, most day traders are flat out just not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole, because I feel like it's a trappish to the long side, and maybe that's been entirely wrong for a long period of time, and maybe you should just go with like standard, trade it like a standard stock, like which has been working out, like fail the pre-market low and buy the volume weighted average price and then hold it. Like, are you kidding me? Take the opening range breakout. That never even goes against you. Like it's got this weird normal structure to it for something which is completely,
it's absurd.
It's squeezing. Like that was a very standard, just randomly uptrending day for a stock when it's a crazy squeeze going on. So yeah, it is kind of nonsensical, but let's be real. I don't think you want to be caught when the music stops on that one.
No. Hell no, man.
No, you definitely don't. But you do want to make sure you tune in all week. We've got more earnings coming this week. Obviously, we have a certain company called Intel.
Intel.
Another one called Tesla.
Yeah, Intel on Thursday.
But until we get to that, we still have markets to maneuver in, oil prices and shocks and truth and all that good stuff. We got Joey options all day filling in for Sean, who was chilling on the beach with a pina colada or a beer, whatever he's doing with the family. And I know he's having a lot of fun. You're holding it down. We got Sharif in the house. We got Sia and Adara crushing it. Of course, as usual, Fabian Andre Ramin doing a fantastic job making us look and sound quite good, with extra cameras now behind us too, like 3 cameras behind us. So rest up, have a good one. Hopefully the weather is more fun than it is here where it was freezing cold. Oh, we have
a final super chat.
One more super chat we'll end you off with, and it is Adam James Abroad. The
bleep
is why
bleep
is
bleep
rental car company ham.
There you go.
Because the stock market is crazy. And that's just how it goes. It doesn't matter what they do.
Doesn't matter.
Someone else wants to buy it at a higher price, and somebody keeps trying to short sell it, and they're losing right now, and the longs are winning. We'll see you back at 8 o'clock. We're Trader TV Live. Rest up. We'll see you in the morning.
See you guys.